RDTDaily.com presents a Tarabuster with comedian Tara Devlin.
All right. Sorry, guys. I'm so late. I'm sorry, Charlie from APS Radio News. I'm very late. It's not my fault. I have to tell you, it's not my fault. I'm sorry. How's it sound? It sounds kind of in my headphones. So, let's see. I had the air on. It's very hot in my apartment, too. Hi, this is Tara Devlin. Thank you for hanging out. Boudica was right there, but she just jumped down. Damn it. I need my emotional support cat tonight. Yeah, sorry I'm late. As I was getting ready to go, I accidentally closed all the windows and had to restart the computer. All right, listen. I'm very sorry, Charlie. I know you have a schedule. Charlie from APS Radio News, thank you so much for your support, guys. We meet here every Friday evening at 8:30-ish p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's a little late right now, but I appreciate your flexibility. And I want to thank you, Charlie from APS Radio News. As always, keeping the show going and growing. It helps. And, well, it keeps me off the ledge, so to speak. And, yeah, emotional. Well, that's partly why I do the show, because I need you. I need you guys. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how we would have gotten through the pandemic without you guys. And now, how are we going to get through the next 4 years of hell? Yeah. All right. So, but if you can, I know you're getting bombarded everywhere. If you can become a patron, please do at patreon.com/Tara Devlin. I know that a lot of people want to check out now. I don't know. I understand if you want to check out, but don't check out forever, because we need everybody. We need yeah. I mean, we're in a shitty time. This is a very shitty timeline. Or I shouldn't curse. They say that the algorithm, if you curse in the first couple of minutes, it down whatever the hell it does, downs you. It downs you. All right. All right. I don't even know. Let's just get going because I'm late here. So, okay. And also thank you. Let me see. Where is my chat, guys? All right. So if you're on any other platform, come on over to youtube.com/c4channel/Tarabuster. That's where I'll be hanging out with the greatest chat room in American history. So if you want to join us, and you'll meet a whole bunch of amazing people. And yeah, I mean, we this is the crew. We get together on Friday nights. We hang out, discuss what the hell is going on, and we try to plot the revolution, I suppose. At this point, we're in big trouble. But thank you, Charlie from APS Radio News. If you haven't checked that out, please do. APS Radio News is a news outlet where Charlie has other independent media voices. And this show is proud to be a part of the APS Radio News family. So thank you, Charlie. And also thank you for your donations to the community cats. They help. And it definitely goes to the cats. So thank you for that. Not everybody thinks about the poor creatures, right? Out there in the cold. But it says a lot, to me at least, when you're an animal person. I don't trust people who don't like animals, right? That for some reason, well, I know why, because they're sociopaths. And speaking of sociopaths, did you see Peter Thiel? Okay, let's see. Where do we even begin? So last time and thank you, Jim, for your super chat right here. And also, I want to thank you for being a moderator in the chat room and for your feedback. Sounds good, looks good. Thank you so much. And Haiku for being a moderator in the chat room. So if you come and hang out in our chat room, you know that you'll be safe there. We don't tolerate trolls. You know, they got plenty of places to go and defecate figuratively in the halls of our capital. You know, I know, like, they like to defecate and urinate in the halls of our citadel of democracy, but they also like to defecate and urinate in the metaphorical, the figurative halls, wherever they are. They don't know how to behave. It's true. And you know what? We are living in a very shitty timeline. So, okay, where do we even begin? Last time, well, on Wednesday, we got together with Robyn Kincaid from headon.live. And one of the things we were talking about, besides everything else that sucks, is the UnitedHealth CEO getting unalived, I guess, at on his way to one of their I don't know. How do you have a investors meeting in healthcare, in somebody's health? You know, because that's, you know what that is? You're not investing in health. You're investing in somebody not getting health care. You're investing in taking their money and not paying health care. Right? Because that's how the insurance racketeers get rich. They take your money for the premiums, and then they deny coverage. There's no reason for them to exist. Every other country figured this out long ago. You know why? Because healthcare is not a market. Now, it's not a real market. You know, the market is your money or your life. And we hear the Republicans, they always go on about, we have the greatest healthcare in the world. And, you know, you can't fix perfect. And fact is, we have the greatest anything in the world if you got the money for it. That's not to be denied. But when it comes to healthcare, it certainly is to be denied. We have the measurably worst health care in the Western world, in the developed world. We consistently rank dead last in all positive measures. It costs more. It covers less. It leaves millions out, and consistently for years. I don't know, is it a decade? But I know, but for decades, this health racket has needlessly killed 35,000 to 45,000 Americans yearly because they didn't get health care. They didn't get the help they needed. And today I saw this, you know, and one of the problems of the reason we're stuck in this shitty timeline with that is because of the incessant propaganda. But it is because of money in politics too. And the corporate media that runs cover for the scam, because it's, you know, it's a lot of rich people. I mean, basically, the corporate media the corporate media in this country, especially on the right wing, right? It's billionaires paying millionaires to tell, you know, the working poor and working class, the working poor, the working stiff, the working maggot, that their problems are because of people lower on the ladder. That's the scam. Keep them divided so they don't point the anger where it belongs. And the fact that this guy got, you know, I don't know. What do you say? I don't want to get banned on YouTube. The guy got assassinated, I guess. I don't know. What's a politically correct term for this? He was killed, I guess, whatever, by someone. No one shed a tear for the CEO, and that's part of the problem, right? But it's not the problem. It's a reflection of what everyone feels. And it's sort of like, you know what this reminds me of? That every time there's a mass shooting in this country, and I'm wondering when the next one will be. It will happen. You know, it's not the if, it's the when. But every time that happens, we get reminded that, 90% of Americans, in the very least, want background checks on gun purchases, and that's a pretty steep percentage. We can't get 90% of anything in this country. Right, something in my mouth here. Hold on, there's something like stuck in my gums here. That's annoying me. All right, hold on. We get very intimate in this Tarabuster community here. Hold on. Just feel it in my mouth. Okay, so it reminds me of that. So 90% of Americans want background checks on gun purchases, but it doesn't happen because we have the money in politics. Politicians are bought by billionaires and the rich that ensure that policies never change. And so when this guy got killed by this vigilante person or whatever, you don't see, no one is, I mean, everyone, of course, agrees that we shouldn't murder people. That murder is bad, and you shouldn't shoot people in the streets. That's a bad thing. But there's no one is crying and saying, like, oh, the guy, it's like, not like we lost Princess Diana or something, right? Like, all of a sudden it's a big shock and a loss to the world. No, there's zero sentiment like that. Like, there's no one throwing flowers, and it's not, weeping in the streets and whatnot. So, and the last time we played this CEO, he's a UnitedHealth CEO. He was very upset by that. He was upset that we the sheeple that he gets rich denying health care to weren't seeing what a great humanitarian this person was, and why we, how all the good he did for the world, we just don't see how this guy standing in our doctor's office and coming up with an AI to deny 90% of our claims, how that was somehow our, his great contribution to our lives. Because otherwise we would be willy-nilly at the health, trying to get our health in order, right? We would just go and be like, do something about this cancer, or we wouldn't have any skin in the game. That's another thing that really gets on my nerves, that Republicans see. One of the reasons we have this bullshit with co-pay, this is another thing they tell us, and I see JD in the chat. JD lives in England, and they have health care as a right of citizenship, not a privilege of wealth. And if you're, and guarantee, JD, if they, tomorrow, I know that they're trying to privatize the aspects of the NIH, and God help you if they get away with it. I know that some of it is, I'm not sure how successful it is, actually, but you could probably tell us. But really, if they turned around tomorrow and said, we're going to the American model, there would be riots in the streets. Trust me. You know that. No, I mean, if we have something good, and that's what, last time when we got together with Robyn, we were talking about Roman history. One of the reasons the Romans were so successful and their empire lasted, the Roman Republic lasted 500 years, the empire lasted 500 years, nearly 1,000 years, was because they were really good at adopting the good ideas of other civilizations that they encountered, as when they, branched out and they found someone another civilization that did it better, they might have, annihilated or absorbed that civilization like the Borg, but they would take their good ideas and make it their own. And isn't that how it works? Isn't that the sign of somebody who's, or some of a nation, let's say, of a people that, is built to last, so to speak? Why would you continue to do something that is the worst? You pay the most and you get the least, and you kill your fellow Americans and you leave millions behind, and we're all stuck in that system. We're all suffering from it, really, because, oh God help us. Wait until polio is back. Because polio, they found strains of polio again in the water in New York and upstate New York and other places. Measles, mumps, rubella. And now we got these freaks who don't believe in vaccines, who like Robert F. Kennedy Jr., and maggots in general now are somehow thinking, they've bought this whole bullshit that they're not free if somebody tells them to get a vaccine. So all this shit's coming back, and it's only going to get worse. But, if that's what I mean. That's why you have to have a functioning government with normal people who have the best interests of your population at heart, because we all got to live together, right? That's why I can't stand these fucking billionaires and all of these other parasites. They go to a desert island. They all treat us like nothing but hosts from which to suck profit and discard. And that's going to be the zeitgeist of this time moving forward. The next 4 years, and this is how we're going to get through it, I think, is that we got to be prepared mentally. Acceptance is the key to all my problems, right? But we don't have to accept it. We just got to expect it. When you expect the disaster, you can't be disappointed. It's gonna suck. They are going to be this is going to be the most corrupt administration in American history. It already is. There's going to be a lot of gaslighting. There's going to be a lot of frustration and listening to them, what's the word? The bizarro world, the bizarro land. Like, for example, before I get into the CEO, J.D. Vance, for example, announced that he's going to take this Jordan Neely, not Jordan Neely, that's the guy who got killed. J.D. Vance, what's the guy's name? Wait. J.D. Vance, this dirtbag, J.D. Vance, who is, and it kind of weaves us into Peter Thiel, because Peter Thiel is a billionaire. He's not a genius. It's like J.D., it's like Elon Musk. He made some good investments. But that don't mean he gets to rule over us, but I guess it does at this point. Because in this shitty timeline, that's all that matters. Did you come up with a way to separate people from their money? Somehow? Did you get a lot? Did you do that? Do you have like buku bucks? And it doesn't matter how you did it. Did you take your daddy's trust fund and parlay it into buku bucks? By making an early investment in Facebook or PayPal? Whatever. That means you get to decide whether we have a dignified retirement. Oh yeah, that's what they think. They think that we're going to listen to some of this Piers Morgan interview with this plastic sociopath, this sweaty plastic sociopath, in a minute. But Peter Thiel, J.D. Vance, wait, hold on a second. So it all relates because Peter Thiel bought, he owned J.D. Vance. That's why we have this freshman senator, basically. He's barely been in the legislature for 2 years. Now he's the effing vice president because he wrote a book, right? And he was a investment banker. What was he? It was some kind of, he made money, or he was at some, what do you call that? I don't know. It's billionaire. He was funded by a billionaire. What's that other thing they do when billionaires? I can't think of it. The name. You guys will tell me on the chat. So let me see. J.D. Vance invited the guy who killed this homeless guy. Hold on a second, because all my links closed. That's why I gotta look it up again. Where is it? Peter Thiel owns J.D. Vance. Yes. See, these are my notes. Peter Thiel's a sociopath. Yep. Trump is now embracing Project 2025. Yep. These are the things that are on my list. Okay, yes. Daniel Perry. So that's the guy who killed Jordan Neely. And Jordan Neely was a homeless man who was having an episode. He was a mentally ill homeless man who was, quote unquote, acting erratically on the New York City subway. And J.D. Vance, because this guy, Daniel Perry, he was just acquitted. Daniel Perry, the guy who chokeholded him to death on the New York City subway, just extended an invitation to Daniel Perry to the Army-Navy game with Trump. You see? And what kind of message is that? Now, remember, let's put this all in context. Ever since the tax cheating, draft dodging wannabe dictator con man with the fake university and the vitamin scam, the history of sexual assault, the rape conviction, the classified documents in the shitter, sent the mob to attack the Capitol, right? Ever since he won the election in a squeaker, we've been getting lectured by the right-wingers how we should give him a chance, right? Why don't we reach out to the maggots? We're being too mean to them, and that we need to understand what goes on in the maggot mind. And my argument is, when do the maggots or even just a regular old Republican ever extend the same courtesy? No, in fact, they vilify liberals. They constantly lie about liberals. They can't even say the name of the Democratic Party, right? So how does, and in fact, when you think about this country, this is a multi-racial liberal democracy, and that's what bothers them. They don't like democracy. Peter Thiel is open about it. When you're open, and what do you think they're sitting around talking about? Peter Thiel and J.D. Vance. Why do you think Peter Thiel funded J.D. Vance's entire political career, his scammy career? Because they hold the same views. Peter Thiel doesn't believe in democracy, neither does J.D. Vance. They need a big white daddy to save them from the scary, complex world of others who don't know their place. People like, and somebody like Daniel Perry, that's a hero. Another hero, like Kyle Rittenhouse, who killed Black Lives Matter supporter. He had no business being in that town where he was running around. He was underage. He had an assault weapon that he shouldn't have had. And he's running around in a town that's not even his. And he murders 2 people and maims a third. Attempted murder the third. I mean, he was acquitted too, but now he's a hero because he shot and murdered the quote-unquote right people. You get it? And the same thing with Daniel Perry. He killed somebody who has had darker pigment. The message is clear. You got to kill the right people, quote unquote, and then they'll make you. They'll put you on the frickin' straight stage of the RNC. They'll make you a keynote speaker. You will be their one of their touchstones. It's like those dumb that couple. You know, when the Black Lives Matter protesters walked by their house, and they came out with their pew pew pew, because they were so afraid. There were brown people walking by the house. What are we gonna do? Now, I didn't see any of the brown people walking by their house. They didn't have a cattle prod. There was no zip ties. There were no bear sprays. Nothing. They were just walking, saying Black Lives Matter. But the message is clear. Same thing happened. You know, they took those two freaks. I can't remember their name. Somebody on the chat will remind me. The guy ran for Congress. They took them to those two, cowards, and turned them into heroes. They were speakers at the RNC. Because you gotta be afraid in this land of the brave, home of the free, land of the brave. Get the fuck out of here. Home of the cowards. Home of the tiny little fragile little right-wingers who pretend to be so they're such man. They're so masculine, right? But they can't, they can't handle a brown person walking by their house. But as far as this murderer, I mean, he killed somebody. The thing is, they said that the guy was acting erratic on the what's his name? Jordan Neely was acting erratic on the New York City subway. Now, and it all fits together because we live in a country where people can't get health care, So I don't know the whole story of how Jordan Neely ended up on the streets, unmedicated, in a mental health crisis, and acting erratically on the subway. And, this guy, Daniel Perry, grabbed him by the back of his neck and put him in a chokehold. And the people apparently on the train were telling him, like, let him go. He's peeing his pants, which is a sign that, he's not like, he's you're killing him. Okay? And he held on to him for 4 to 5 and 6 minutes until the guy died. But he got acquitted. I wasn't on the jury. I don't know. I didn't see all the evidence, but all I know is that, you didn't have to kill the guy, and only in America would this even maybe not. Maybe it would happen other places, but I would venture a guess that there might be other services available to someone in a mental health crisis, and not except here when you have darker pigment and you're in the middle of a mental health crisis, there's a high probability that you're going to get unalived by somebody, including the cops. And this guy, the fact that J.D. Vance, all you have to do, Vance, is nothing, right? All you have to do, remember now, it reminds me of when when was that? Trayvon Martin, when George Zimmerman hunted down, when Trayvon Martin was walking through his neighborhood after he went and bought a bag of, I think he bought an iced tea and a bag of Skittles, and George Zimmerman called the cops on him and was very afraid, very scared. And then he shot him and killed this kid. And it reminds me of after that, when Barack Obama came out and said that could be me, that it could have been me walking down the street like that, and the right wingers went fucking ballistic. And after that, he didn't he like have some beer summit. He invited somebody. I don't even remember the whole thing. Trying to block it all out, but just by bringing up race, the Republicans, they talk about Barack Obama, that he was a very divisive president in regard to race. Like, he was racially divisive just by the mere fact that he was, right? That he existed. Hold on a second. This is Tara Devlin. Be right back. So that it's another example of the different rules for Republicans, right? When Barack Obama brings up the fact that, yeah, that could have been me. I could have been Trayvon Martin walking down the street. Like, let's have this whatever conversation about race. And I remember he gave a speech, Barack Obama at the time, about race, and it was an incredible speech. And it was, very inspiring and very astute, of course. But that's why the Republicans were triggered. Because the only thing you can do for Republicans in regard to race is accept your place. Know your place. Don't ever have any kind of self-worth and identity if you're not a straight, white, rich male or one of their admirers. That's it. If you're a black person, if you're somebody with darker pigment, or you're a member of a minority group, all you can do is accept your place. And that's as much as, they'll accept you, as long as you recognize that white men are the most oppressed of all in this country. It's really true. And the fact that they flip out when Barack Obama, they call him the most the most divisive president, most racially divisive. You know what? I'm thinking of this because I looked something up about Barack Obama. Sometimes you ask, I don't know who the hell is programming the AI, but when I ask the AI things, and sometimes it gives you very right-wing skewed responses, and then I get into an argument with it, and it will agree. Oh, you're right. I shouldn't have done that. It'll say Democrat Party and things like that. And I said something about Barack Obama, and I'm trying to find it. It's probably in here somewhere. And the AI mentioned that Obama was also criticized by Republicans for being divisive, racially divisive. And he's racially divisive because of exactly what I'm saying, according to Republicans, that he's racially divisive to them by the mere fact that he exists in a darker pigment body. That's it. So what's not racially divisive about inviting a man who killed a homeless, someone with darker pigment, a mentally ill, unhoused person in the middle of a mental health crisis on the New York City subway? What's not racially divisive about that? Do you think that he would do the same if that were a maggot, right? Let's say there was a maggot on the New York City subway having a mental health crisis, and Jordan Neely, do you think, first of all, would Jordan Neely even act? Would he get up and put that person in a chokehold? I don't know. But if it was a white man that he killed, you think J.D. Vance would invite him to the Army Navy game with the fucking president-elect. This is another example. It's just an example of what Republicans, what cons do, what conservatives do. It's the message they're sending. Stay in your place. We got something for you. That's why, we have this white baboon now coming into the Oval Office again to destroy things. It's a smash and grab of the very underwhelming elite. They always talk about the liberal elites, the liberal elites. What the fuck are they? This is you talk about the elites. It's a cabinet of billionaires, freaks, and curiosities, who are not in there to help the average maggot like Daniel Perry, not maggot, I mean average person like Daniel Perry or the average maggot. They're in there to rig the game. They're in there to destroy, to make more Daniel Perrys out of us all. So they'll have no services. You wait till they get done. Wait till they're coming for the IRS. One of the first things they're going to do, they said they're going to try to end the free IRS service so you could do your taxes for free, because they want to make the process of paying your taxes more irritating and upsetting to the American people. That's why they continue to defund the IRS. So when you call, you gotta carve out your whole goddamn day if you need to get them on the phone. They do that. That's a deliberate tactic. Same thing with the ACA. They keep defunding the health insurance, not just the website, but the people that you call to help you guide you through the fucking process. They keep defunding that because they want people to be frustrated and say, we don't need this. We need Peter Thiel. We need Elon Musk. We need man-child Musk. That's what they're going to do. They're coming for Social Security. They're coming for Medicare. They're coming for anything that makes the American people, that helps the American people. They're coming from the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. They're coming for, what's the other thing I was reading today? Another thing that helps. Oh, they're coming for the FDIC. They want to destroy the federal insurance deposit protection that came about by because of the first Republican Great Depression. So, but what do you care? $250,000. You're who cares? A billionaire does. They sneeze, and $250,000 comes out of their ass. So, fuck it. You're on your own, bubby. You're on your fucking own. Oh, God. These people. But this is what I'm saying. Right before we went on air, I saw that Vance's guest at the Army-Navy game will be the Marine vet acquitted in the subway choking of Daniel Perry. Who, Daniel Perry... What's his story? Exactly. I wasn't on the jury, so they said, the people on the jury said it was a terrifying experience, or the witnesses said it was a terrifying experience, because he was saying, I'm going to kill somebody, and I don't care. He was having a mental health crisis. I wasn't there. I've been on the subway. There's been, I've seen fucked up shit on the subway. And, but the fact is, the other thing is that the Republicans know that, they're full of shit, of course, but they're like, the subway is because they want everybody to be afraid. And the fact is, the crime rate is not as they describe on the subway. Not that, whenever a crime occurs, it's not that crime doesn't occur. This is a very large city with millions of people. And, a lot of shit happens here. But, the fact is, the crime rates are higher in these maggot states. That's just a fact, right? So, anyway, the fact is, this is just another message to this country Just like the message of putting the maggot, their chief baboon maggot back in the Oval Office. We don't give a shit. 90% of African American women voted for Harris. Right? That's just the statistic. It's the fact. But they're afraid that, and what's coming is that eventually white people are going to be in the minority. And these very fragile maggot types are holding on for dear life. I really don't understand how it's just so sad how racism is the crack that the people like Peter Thiel and J.D. Vance and Trader Trump, that is where they hook these maggots. They get them right on their racist funny bones. They just pull those racist funny bones, and these average Joe maggots will sell their own mothers for what? For some perceived what? Like, you're in the meat grinder too, maggots. You're Soylent's green too. But it's okay as long as they can kick down on someone lower on the ladder. As long as they, maybe one day they'll want to choke out somebody who's got darker pigment, and they'll get invited to the Army-Navy game. And, just that itself is so repugnant. Could you imagine? Really, think about it. That's how we know this that Republicans are disgusting, right? Could you imagine if Barack Obama had done something? Hold on, the music. Let's see. Like, is there a comparable story where a black person vigilanted a white person somewhere? Well, let's say that's what happened. If there was a black person or someone with darker pigment, and he, his actions took the life of a white man, accidentally, let's say, and Barack Obama invited that person to the Army-Navy game, or to the White House, or gave him a position of honor at some event. Could you even imagine that happening? Of course not, because Barack Obama didn't have the freedom to act like a baboon like that, like the orange baboon. He couldn't do that because he knew he's a better person. At the time, he was trying to be the president of all people, right? That's usually what Democrats try to do. They don't try to pour gasoline on the fire, But this is not just pouring gasoline on the fire. I mean, the fire is lit. They are sending and reaffirming the message. They're just repeating and reiterating the message that you better get in your place. You better know your place. All of us, if you don't have to have darker pigment, yes, but if you do, look out. If you are somebody who doesn't have darker pigment, but you're in a Black Lives Matter rally, or you're standing up for somebody with darker pigment, right? That's the message. All of anybody who has any, who's not racist, who's not in their little group, there's a target on all of us. Trust me, when the first protests start for it's a coming. When they start dragging people out of their houses, when the mass deportations start, what's going to happen. They are going to attempt, who knows if it's going to be successful, they will set the military on the American people. It is happening. It will happen. And, Republicans are going to cheer Just like I mean, I don't understand how they cheer the death of someone on the subway. Like, why? Why are you cheering for that? And they make this man who was in the middle of a mental health crisis, they make him into some kind of super, it's like one of these super predators, right? And as far as maggots are concerned, it's okay if you're the judge, jury, and executioner this is why they talk about how patriotic they are, but it's another example of how they really don't like America. They don't like the system of laws. They don't like the Constitution. They don't like equal protection under the law. They don't like any checks and balances, and they don't seem to get that it's not you're not free if a vigilante can just be the judge, jury, and executioner if you're having a meltdown on the subway, right? Or if the cops, they're not supposed to be a roving band, a roving execution squad. They're supposed to be the ones that take you to your court. You get your day in court. That, and then it's not up to them to carry out the sentence. So it's just, when I saw that, it's so repugnant, and it's so divisive, and I don't know. First of all, second of all, and third of all, I don't understand why. And this is why I haven't heard this, on the corporate media or from the Democrats or any saying that this is absolutely divisive, and there the Republicans go again, dividing the American people. That's all they can do, as they cry and whine about how liberals, don't want to have Thanksgiving or Christmas with their maggot uncle who voted, to send them, who voted to turn this country into a fascist authoritarian shithole. And, but yeah, we're supposed to be A-OK cool with the fact that, but at every turn, this is what right-wingers do. They, not only do they draw that line, they draw that line in blood. You step over that line, we got something for you. That's what they're saying. It's the same thing. It's like them naming schools and streets and army bases after traitors, and putting up statues to traitors and slave owners who took up arms against the United States. They're saying, stay in your place or we got something for you. But yeah, that's Peter Thiel's pet, J.D. Vance. And in case you missed it, Peter Thiel was on Piers Morgan. But first, let's see. Well, let's get into since we're talking about it. I wanted to read that. Where is that? Oh, yeah. Well, hey, let's start here, I guess, since I said it. The UnitedHealth Group CEO, he wrote an op-ed in the New York Times. Give me a break. And he wrote, this is the guy that was upset that we're not crying or that he's upset at the reaction of his colleague that was assassinated, I guess, in the streets. But so Andrew Witty is the CEO of UnitedHealth Group, and in this op-ed for the New York Times, he reflected on the tragic death of Brian Thompson, a fellow executive to shed light on the deficiencies of the American healthcare system. Now, he's only doing this because of the reaction that him and other CEOs. I don't know if you saw it too. There was, I think it was in Seattle. There was someone took over. I don't know if they found who did it, but one of these highway signs was reprogrammed to say, one CEO down, many more to go. And then a woman today was arrested. Her name is, what's her name? Her name is Brianna Boston, I think. Where is it? Yes, a Lakewood woman charged Tuesday after, Tuesday. Okay. Well, this article came out today. Charged on Tuesday after police say she ended a call to an insurance company with the words delay, deny, depose. In an arrest affidavit, Lakeland Police Department said officers were contacted by the FBI on Tuesday. So whoever she was on the phone with reported her for saying delay, deny, depose, which those are the words that were on the shell casings for the bullets found in New York after the guy was murdered. So Brianna Boston, age 42, had reportedly placed a call to Blue Cross Blue Shield regarding recent medical insurance claims, and that were denied, of course, right? Because that's what they do. We should all they should write an article when you're not denied, right? I mean, I'm talking about real catastrophic things. They initially deny, if you have your regular checkup and whatnot. But the whole point is not to pay your claims. So, yes, here's Tara Jr. I couldn't help it. He just jumped up. Get down. Wait, hold on. He's gonna sit here. Don't sit on the keyboard, please. Okay. So, let's see. So, here's the woman. Near the end of the call, investigators said Boston could be heard stating, delay, deny, depose, you people are next. The three words are similar to those written on the ammunition of the gunman used in the killing of the UnitedHealth CEO. The affidavit noted that similarities between the incidents, but they got right on that. I'm still waiting for the FBI to find out who sent all those text messages the day after the election, that when the baboon was elected, and black people got all these racist messages. That's what I'm waiting for. How come they get this lady so quickly, and we don't know about who perpetrated that act of domestic terrorism against, I don't know, hundreds, 1,000 or more Americans who have darker pigment? They sent targeted texts with their names saying, report to this such and such plantation to begin your enslavement or something. That's an act of domestic terrorism. But we still don't know who did it. Who did it? Was it Russia? Who? I mean, the FBI is supposed to be on that case, right? So the affidavit, but we got this lady. I guess we had her phone number, so she's not alone, though. People are frustrated, and that's why this guy wrote this article. Brian Thompson. I mean, what's his name? What's his name? Oh, Andrew Witty. Andrew, who's English, by the way, JD. So he should know about universal health care. So he says that the shocking loss of Brian Thompson prompts a necessary reflection on the healthcare system. You knew. I mean, when the guy got killed, we played the phone call or the Zoom call you had with your employees, and you didn't talk about how the system needs reform. You said that this was a great system. That's what he said, that we perform a necessary service for the American people, that we help people get the right care, by denying care for along whatever lines. I mean, they make shit up. They deny care. It doesn't matter. They don't want to pay. That's, they'll say, oh, it's an experiment. It's experiments. I remember I told you guys when this is years ago, when I had to go to rehab. This is before now there's health and mental health parity. That now the insurance companies, because of government regulation, they can't deny rehab care or mental health care. It goes under. And but of course, when I went to go to rehab years ago, they didn't cover rehab because there was a stigma against against alcoholism, and they're going to use that stigma. It doesn't matter if I needed it to save my effing life. Get a grip, bitch. Pull yourself up by your bootstraps. It's your willpower. Just say no, damn it. And it doesn't matter that all of the as far as the studies and the success rates and all, and the empirical research saying that what people need and what would be better for your health and your success in recovery. No. If there's a stigma against this particular illness, and we ain't gonna pay, we're gonna take that stigma and we're gonna use it as a reason not to pay. And they only do it. They do it now because they got to. They have to. Just like any other corporation that's in it for the money. They're not doing it because, you don't get the weekends. You don't get overtime pay. You don't get sick leave or, whatever, vacation pay. If you get these things, a lot of people working in the gig economy, that's why Republicans love that. Because you're on your own. Everybody's their own boss, right? But there's no benefits. There's no, God help you if you get sick. So, but corporations aren't doing these things because they feel like it. They had an enlightened moment. They're doing it because they are regulated to do it. That's why you get overtime. That's why you have a weekend. It's in the law now. And it's a relatively new law, by the way. It's a little over 100 years old. And, but don't worry. They're working on it. They're working on rolling us back. And believe me, that's what they're up to. That's what Peter Thiel and Elon Musk and the rest of them, that's what they're doing. They're rolling back the 20th century, and not just rolling back the New Deal, the Progressive Era. They're rolling back the American Revolution. Right to the good old days of serfdom, where you got nothing, you fell on hard times, go to the church. Republicans talk about that. They've been talking about that for years. Government shouldn't be doing anything for anybody except the army. Just like the good old days that the founders rebelled against. They fought a revolution. All right, honey, you got to get down. He's getting on my nerves here because he wants me to pet him and he keeps biting at my hand. And I need my hand to flail around. So, anyway, where was I? So this is what Andrew Witty says. We greatly appreciate the enormous outpouring of support for Brian, who ran our health insurance business, UnitedHealthcare, as well as for our wider company, which I lead. Yet, we are also struggling to make sense of this unconscionable act. You don't have to struggle. Everybody knew right off the bat, right? What are you struggling about? You should be a little bit smarter than that. If you're the CEO of a company, right? You should be a little bit more clued in. We're struggling? Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that's horrible, killing somebody. Don't do that. That's bad. But we kind of, right off the bat, saw, I wonder what happened to him. Did he have a catastrophic illness? Did he lose somebody? We all speculated about that, but it wasn't, frankly, I was a little bit surprised it hadn't happened before. I'm saying do not do that. It's bad. We don't want to do that. But it wasn't, we didn't have to struggle to figure it out, right? Like he's saying, struggling to make sense of this unconscionable act and the vitriol that has been directed at our colleagues. Honey, there's been vitriol directed at the American people for years. I hate to say it, but it is the truth. How do you sleep at night, knowing how you make your money? I don't know how. That's how Wendell Potter, he used to work for UnitedHealth. Was it UnitedHealthcare? Or maybe it was Aetna. But he left. He said he couldn't sleep with himself anymore. He couldn't look himself in the mirror anymore. And he became a whistleblower, and talked about what he did when he was on the inside working for the insurance companies. How, denying care, that was the business model. We're not dumb. Of course that's what it is. They make money. They make a lot of money. How do you make so much money? I mean, they literally gave that guy, Bill McGuire, a $1.6 billion bonus when he left, when he retired. One guy, $1.6 billion for denying health care to other Americans. How many did he kill, right? How many orphans, widows did he make? How many children, how many mothers grieve the loss of their children? It's I don't know. It is a sick system. It's not a healthcare system. It's a sick care system. It's broken, and everybody knows it except the ones who profit from it. They know it's broken too, though, actually, now I'm saying this. They know it's broken. They just like it like that. Like the oil companies know that, and they've known for generations that they are contributing to the warming of the planet, and they don't care. They're going to ride that baby, as much as they can until the bitter end. Oh, hey. How many more have to suffer and die? There's only one remedy we need in this country, and we know it, and it's called Medicare for all. It's the system that every other country figured out a long time ago. You want to keep this system of private companies standing in your office denying care? Well, make it a non-profit business. Because there is a model for that too. Like in Sweden, they have a similar system where everyone has to buy into it. You see, that's the thing. That's what they were trying to do here. But Republicans kept throwing their poison pills in. In Sweden, when you go there, if you move there, like my friend Sherry Sutton lives there now. She moved there, and you guys, I used to do a show with Sherry, and she took a job in Sweden because she needed health care. She lived in Georgia, and she couldn't get health care because she couldn't afford it, and Georgia wasn't expanding the ACA, so there was no subsidies, there's no help. And she got a job in Sweden just to get the health care. She moved. She's living there now. And when you go there, within the first 90 days, you have to prove it. You have to get health insurance, and it's administered by a non-profit company. And one of the ways you have choice of what company you want to go with, but everybody's got to get it, or you pay a fine. And that's what Obamacare was supposed to be, except the rapacious, greed-centered ghouls were for-profit. And instead of, I think one of the regulations, they might have fucked this over too, was instead of let me look this up. There was a cap on the profit. So instead of let me see. I don't know the exact numbers. I'm just remembering off the top of my head. Instead of a 35%, I think it was, instead of a 35% profit margin, it was a 15%. It might actually be lower than that. In the ACA, you couldn't take the bulk of the premiums for profit. It had to go to care. So let me see. ACA profit margin for private. That's one of the regulations in the ACA. Health insurance company. I always say Racket, so I always start. Yeah, okay. The general profit margins for the health insurance industry. Let's see. Oh, it's giving me the billions. Gain of, look at this. Specifically for the individual market, includes ACA plans. Insurers reported a underwriting gain of $3.2 billion. See? They're not doing too bad. Let's see. Medicare Advantage reports higher gross... Medicare Advantage is private. It's not answering my question here. General profit margin, overall profit margin for the health insurance industry is fluctuating. It doesn't... I'll have to look this up another time. I think the ACA made a cap. It gave... I'm not sure what it was. I thought it was 15%. So you had to... which isn't a bad, profit margin. That's how these fuckers are riding around in gold-plated... in private jets with gold-plated faucets. That's the truth. It's not me saying it. This is stuff that Wendell Potter talked about. That the rapacious, the ostentatious displays of wealth from the health insurance racketeers themselves. Because it shows you how. Just not just out of touch, but how sociopathic the whole industry is. Because they don't give a shit. He's having this, he wrote this article, this guy in particular wrote this article because, they're afraid. They're afraid somebody that we're all going to change their racket. We're going to end their rapacious and immoral racket. But he should know it's not going to happen. Not right now, especially. You know why? Because even though the majority of the American people hate the health insurance racket, we are beaten. We're beaten into submission. It's true. the half of the country are propagandized by right wingers on half they watch Fox News, a channel that had to pay the largest media fine in American history for lying to them. Others consume the right-wing influencers literally being paid by the Kremlin to pour this divisive nonsense into their heads. And they have been telling them, they tell them constantly that this is freedom, you're free. We have the greatest healthcare system in the world, you're free, free, free. And, if anybody tries to change it, then there's a dirty socialist, a commie. They hate freedom. It's like Hitler. Hitler first gave people healthcare, which is not true, by the way. It doesn't have to be true. And in fact, the more outrageous, the better. And today, this is what I was going to say earlier. They did another thing on the corporate media about how, and I'm sure this has everything to do with what happened with this guy being assassinated. The health insurance racketeers are feeling nervous. And there was a feel-good story on the corporate media about how a particular insurance racket forgave a whole bunch of medical debt, and they went to one of the families, and they were the corporate media saying it was because of our story that the health insurance racket forgave not only this family's medical debt, but a whole bunch of other families got their medical debt forgiven. And they were all like, this is great. They were interviewing the families. They're like, now I can breathe. And the story was, one of the families, the woman or the husband had a heart attack. And this happened, I think, over 15 years ago or something like that, like a long time ago. And they've been paying and paying and paying. And then their house, the health insurance racketeers put a lien on their house, these sons of bitches. Now imagine you have a heart attack, and the guy actually, you know what it was too? This guy was 6 months before he became eligible for Medicare. So right before he was 65 years old, and he went to the doctor. He wasn't feeling well, and the doctor's like, you need a quadruple bypass, like yesterday. And he said, well, I can't. I have no insurance. And that's the thing. He went to the doctor because he was feeling shitty. This is what happens here. You can't forgo it anymore. So he went to the doctor because he couldn't put it on the back burner anymore. He was that sick. And by the time he went to the doctor's like, you need quadruple bypass. And he said, I can't. I don't have any insurance. And he said, well, let's do it in 6 months when I have Medicare. And the guy said, you'll be dead in 6 months. So he did it, and ever since then, he's been hounded by the insurance racket. And thanks to this corporate media story that they did, finally he could breathe. Now, all those years, think of that, how disgusting. This poor guy is, he made the mistake of being a human being, right? And getting old, getting sick, having a sickness, needing help. And that's why this is not a market. This is not a true market. What's this guy going to do? I'm a 64 and a half year old man with a bum ticker. Let me take my bum ticker to, Acme Health Insurance and I'll get a better deal. It's not a true market. It's your money or your life. So that's that's the canard. That's the bullshit Republicans always talk about. Oh yeah, you don't know what your family need. This is what they always say. You get the insurance your family need. How do you know? Do you think the guy thought he was going to get quadruple bypass 6 months before he became eligible for Medicare? That's the nature of health. You're fine one day, and then the next day you might need a very serious operation. So you can't say, "Oh, I don't think I'll get a Cadillac plan this year because I think I'll put my cancer off until 2028." Give me a break. So, in this corporate media story that they talked about, they were like, this is like a feel-good story. And then the people who had their debt forgiven, they were like, "Oh, I'm so grateful. I feel like what a relief. Now I get to enjoy my life, and I can rest and enjoy my retirement with my wife without this." And it's, why are you thanking this health insurance racket? They hounded you for 10 years, buddy. They took the best time of your retirement and turned it into sleepless nights while you're trying to recover from a quadruple goddamn bypass, and then you're getting collection notices and you're getting calls and they're putting a lien on your house that that you raised your kids in, that you have your memories in, and you can't. The guy was saying that I couldn't sleep at night. That's what you need, right? When you're recovering from quadruple bypass. This is why. So for this guy to be like, we're all just baffled about, the feelings, the contention. Why are people so mad? Because, we're mad, but we're also beaten. That's the other thing that sucks, because we have the Republicans and now, President Musk and President Thiel, they have us so divided. The billionaires who pay the millionaires on Fox News to divide us. They have us so divided that it doesn't matter if we agree that this shit is unconscionable and has to change. It won't change. It will not change, because we have been beaten into submission that, I'm, whatever. That's why I'm doing the show. I'm hoping that maybe one day we won't be beaten into submission, but the right-wingers, they're beaten into submission, into this, accepting this, you're on your own. Every man for himself. They have us so divided because, it's profitable for the 1%. It's profitable when the American people, they don't even, advocate for themselves. You see that watching that story, it was so infuriating because even the people who got their debt forgiven, why are you thanking the very ghouls that haunted you for 10 years, that almost killed you, that took the best years of your retirement and turned it into stress? They could have killed you. On top of your quadruple bypass, the last thing you need are sleepless nights. And the guy's just thanking them when he should have said, "What the hell took you so long? This shouldn't happen in America." That's the problem. For the 1,000 or so people they forgave medical debt, how do you think they get to forgive all that medical debt? And think about that. Medical debt? Medical debt. What a disgusting concept. Medical bankruptcy. They can only forgive it because they got plenty more where that came from. There are plenty more suckers where that came from. Plenty more dum-dums. It's absolutely repugnant. And it's also, it's reflective of our divided nation. And that's where Democrats piss me off too, because what the problem is, they don't know how to talk about things. They don't know how to message things. And I'm sure, and as we read the list last week of, it's the majority Republicans are taking money from the health insurance racket, but there are some Democrats in there too. And they should be ashamed. And that's why. It's very profitable. That's why money in politics is the root of all this evil. If we did not have money in politics, we'd already have universal health care. There's no doubt. So, what the hell? Something's going on with my mouth today. Hey, whatever. We do it anyway, right? So, yes. It's absolutely repugnant. It's disgusting. And there you go. J.D. Vance is inviting a guy who murdered somebody to go to the Army-Navy game with him to show black people, that where you stand in his eyes, I suppose. The American people are thoroughly divided. That I always wonder, could you imagine if anyone ever, like in this time period, if anyone proposed something like Social Security at this time? Forget it. It would never happen. How about the 8-hour workday? And I keep bringing up the 8-hour workday because that's one of the things that it's so irritating to me that Democrats don't take credit for. Yes, unions brought us the 8-hour workday, but then it was only for certain industries. Yes, and child labor. That's right. Twisted Nerves Painting on the chat. And it was only for certain industries. The union that were represented by unions that had won those benefits, like the 8-hour workday. And in fact, 888 was the rallying cry of the socialists at the time. And that's part of the reason why when FDR asked Francis Perkins to be the Secretary of Labor, I can't wait till we get this, the new Secretary of Labor that Trump's proposing is guaranteed why can't I talk tonight? An antagonist of labor in general. They're a union buster. So, shit, man. And I just have where's my chapstick? Oh my God, here's the music. Don't even tell me, no way. That's the end of the Progressive Voices part of the show. Come on over to youtube.com/C for channel/Tarabuster for the rest of the show, and it's going to be good. I'm telling you, because we're going to listen to that damn Peter Thiel. It's the stuff of nightmares, really. So, thank you, Charlie from APS Radio News. I mean, not this show. I'm talking about Peter Thiel. Thank you, Charlie from APS Radio News. Thank you, patrons. Patreon.com/Tara Devlin. We will win. Check us out. YouTube.com/C for channel/Tarabuster. We stick together, we win. Uh-oh. Boudica and Tara are now. Tara Jr. are fighting. Buddha. Enough. Okay. I can't believe that. It went by so fast. Okay, enough. Hey. God. Hey, come here. They don't listen to me. Okay. Everybody is acting up. Where am I? All right. Well, that's good. Now we can relax a little. I don't have to worry about the music cues. What was I saying? So, United Healthcare. Well, you know what? So, why don't we play the Peter Thiel thing before I run out of time altogether? But before, let me finish this. Healthcare. This is what the guy says. This what's his face? The United Health Group CEO Andrew Witty says healthcare is both intensely personal and complicated, and the reasons behind coverage decisions are not well understood. Honey, we get it, bitch. We understand it well enough. It's money. Like that letter we read on the last show about a doctor writing into the insurance racket, telling them, how disgusting they are for denying a child the anti-nausea medicine she needed while she's going through chemotherapy. Enough, fuckers. Hey, stop it. It's my Tara Jr. He's an old man, and then Boudica wants to play, and he ain't having it. So, yeah, is that a complicated decision? A young person going through chemotherapy, having nausea, in need of an anti-nausea medication that's denied. And in the letter, the doctor writes how the insurance racketeers told him to advise the child that the nausea was in her head. Now, I guess, is that reasons behind coverage decision? Is that a decision that's not well understood? Yeah, we can't understand how anyone could be that disgusting. You know? Is it worth it? Is that enough? You get enough money? You feel good denying children going through cancer treatments? You feel good denying them anti-nausea medicine? It's so vile. And then he goes, while the health system is not perfect, every corner is filled with people who try to do their best for those they serve. And that's why you're replacing them with AI. Right? Take the people out of the equation. Take the feelings out. Those people might actually have feelings, and they might feel bad, Wendell Potter. His name was escaping me, who left his insurance, his high-paying insurance racketeer job, because he had a heart. He couldn't take it anymore. So, but he says that Brian was one of those people. Yeah, Brian was the guy that introduced the AI. He was raised in the same Iowa farmhouse as his mom. Who cares? I was raised in up the block from my aunt and my uncle lived in the house when he was a kid. Can you believe it? His dad spent more than 40 years unloading trucks at grain elevators. Okay. BT, as we knew him, worked a farm job as a kid and fished at a gravel pit with his brother. Well, who knew he was going to grow up and be a rapacious, greed-scented ghoul parasite sucking on the miseries of others, sucking profit out of young girls' anti-nausea medicine. He never forgot where he came from because it was the needs of the people who live in places like Jewell, Iowa, that he considered first in finding ways to improve care. And that's not what I heard. What? He was wasn't he being sued too for being a rapacious ghoul? All right. I can't believe where we live. JD, We're all coming over, JD. JD lives in England. What a lucky bastard. God. Why did my grandmother leave Ireland? Damn it. What? Oh my God, JD. I just saw this. JD just made, and JD just made a very large donation to the Tarabuster show. Is he still here? Holy shit. Where the hell are you, JD? God damn it, JD. Get back here. Well, thank you, JD. I didn't see that earlier. I hope you're still here. Holy shit. And he's not even American. No freedom of speech here. Really, JD? What's going on there? Well, I know they just banned gender affirming care for youth in England. They also have the libel laws, is that it? Government crackdown under the new Labour administration. Prime Minister Keir Starmer is accused of implementing measures that restrict free speech. Critics claim that recent laws and police actions disproportionately target specific groups, creating a perception of selective enforcement. Well, that sounds like that's coming here. While Article 10 of the Human Rights Act of 1998 guarantees the right to freedom of expression, this is in England, this right is subject to numerous restrictions aimed at protecting public safety and preventing disorder. Wow. You could say anything is preventing disorder. These restrictions can lead to individuals being prosecuted for speech deemed offensive or harmful. Shit. Examples of free speech concerns. In the UK, hate speech laws. UK's Public Order Act criminalizes threatening, abusive, or insulting words that may cause distress. That's something, doesn't that sound familiar, though? Don't they have that in, well, they have something like that in Florida, but it's, well, the stand your ground, and yeah, you can literally lose your life if someone feels threatened. That's why they always have these assholes saying, I'm in fear for my life, when they're the ones holding the guns. And thank you, JD. JD says, it's for Christmas, too. Thank you. And my birthday on December 27th. Everybody. We'll have a show that night, because I don't fucking do anything. I'm my birthday. I can't believe it's almost Christmas. And we can finally say Christmas again. Remember when we couldn't say it? We could finally say Merry Christmas. We couldn't say it for so long. Now we're free to needlessly die without health care. Let's see. We're free. We're free within the constraints of fascism. All right. Why am I putting this off? Probably because I almost lost my lunch watching it the first time. But let's do it. So Peter Thiel was on Piers Morgan show. Wow. And when you hear this, holy shit. This really is it's another blaring example of how billionaires should not exist. That they should be, I mean, he's the poster child for the top marginal tax rate of 90%. That's for sure. That's for goddamn sure.
Well, I wanted to talk to you about the two stories in the news this week. One of which you got dragged into just by...
Isn't he gross? He's plastic, sweaty, and also a sociopath, by the way. It's not just me doing my armchair psychology, even though I'm very good at that. It's one of my innate skills. But there's experts who say he shares or exhibits the very noticeable traits of sociopathy. Of course he is. So is Elon Musk. I don't know if you saw. Did you see Elon Musk walking around with his son named X? I mean, what a boring bastard. He can't think of another name than X. That's how smart. He's such a genius. He can't think of any other name but X. Ugh. Look at him. He's gross. And I guess it probably is the, he must use a lot of, what do you call that? When you're trying to get rid of wrinkles. It's something that makes your skin look like that. I don't know. Oh, God help us.
Circumstance, but the first one was the incident on the subway.
Oh, yes.
With this Marine veteran who...
Of course, they lionize him. Why don't you just shut the fuck up? He killed somebody. He killed somebody's son, somebody's brother, somebody, who knows, you know. He killed a human being that was in a crisis in this fucked up country. But they have to, you know, they really have to pour it on. He killed the right person. That's it. The guy killed the right person. If you killed, you know, you killed a marginalized and poor and politically unconnected nobody, right? Fuck him. He should be dead. He was having a meltdown on the train. Oh, well, I guess that's an executable, or that's a capital offense now. I don't know if I can listen to this whole thing.
Restrained somebody who then sadly died. He's just been acquitted.
Sadly died. You seem so sad about that. Why don't you just shut the fuck up about it? This is what I don't understand. Okay, the guy was acquitted. I wasn't in the jury. I don't know what they saw, why they acquitted him. Okay. I don't know. I think it's fucked up. But okay, he should have got something. You have to say, like, this is not good. We don't want people to kill people. Just like we don't want someone to shoot somebody walking down Fifth, wherever the hell they were walking on their way to an investors meeting, even though the investment is disgusting and repugnant. But, you know, you don't want that. So why would you want a similar execution of somebody on a subway? Okay, but I don't get it. I don't get how they celebrate this. This is another thing when I, you know, deal with, because I study Trumpanzees like Jane Goodall studies apes, but this is kind of a baffling aspect of them. I don't understand how and why they celebrate this, you know, how they really believe this, you know, that, and of course it's very selective, you know, executing a CEO that God knows killed a lot of people by, not personally with his own hands, with his racket, his indifference, his greed. 90%. He came up with this AI. He implemented an AI program that denied 90% of claims. 90%. But okay, these are the good ones, right? These are the Christians too. That's the other thing. I'm not saying Peter Thiel's a Christian, but all these right-wingers, they all love Jesus so much. What do you think Jesus would do? Would Jesus put that guy in a chokehold until he, you know, wets himself and dead? He's dead, and other people on the train going, "You let him go, let him go." I saw that in the video. Like people were saying, let him go. He's peeing his pants. Which is, clearly he was not in control. He had at least, and he kept holding him. He kept him in the chokehold. When he was clearly not a threat anymore. But okay, I don't know. I wasn't on the jury. I don't know what they saw, what they heard. I don't know. I think there should be some consequences for killing somebody, for manslaughter at least. But okay, now he gets to hang out with the president at the Army-Navy game. It's fucked up.
What do you think of that story? Because it seemed to me...
It's like, imagine if, anyone, like, it's almost like as if Bernie Sanders invited that Luigi Mangione to the Army-Navy game, right? That's a similar thing. He got rid of this CEO, this horrible... Isn't that the truth, though? It's on par with... that is that's a comparable comparison. Bernie, a well-known advocate for doing away with the health insurance racket. What's the difference? Let's say they acquit Luigi Mangione. Highly improbable because he murdered somebody who's rich. If he murdered somebody who was poor, that he'd probably be acquitted. That's the truth. And then if Bernie Sanders invited him to a place of honor at the Army-Navy game, it's really along those lines. Same thing. It's like what they do with Kyle Rittenhouse. It's crazy. All right.
If we went back 20, 30 years, this guy would have been immediately lauded as a hero. And yet there was a concerted effort on the left to paint him immediately as a white supremacist, a villain, a criminal, a murderer, and so on. From people like Alexandra Ocasio-Cortez and right the way down. What did you make of that story?
Wow. This is painful.
I always don't know enough about the particulars of these stories, and then it somehow matters.
Wow.
It matters. The specifics matter a great deal.
Right.
But yes, with the caveat that I don't know that much about the particulars on it.
Why don't you?
My instincts are that if we don't have people like that standing up against crime in a sort of citizen's capacity.
You hear this shit? Do you fucking hear this? Did you hear what he said? Of course it's hard because he's stumbling and bumbling, but we're all supposed to be on the edge of our seats because he made an early investment into Facebook, and now we all have to genuflect to his fucking plastic face, his sociopathy, something's off with him. There's clearly some disconnect. He's not somebody with a lot of empathy, that's for sure. He hates democracy. He's been a well-known quoter of Nazism, too. And he's always longing for the good old days. When everybody knew their place and the Nazis were keeping everything in order. But you hear what he's saying? We should encourage this kind of vigilantism. If the guy had just subdued this man, that's a different story. He didn't have to chokehold him until he died, did he? And it wasn't just him. There were other people on the train. He could have listened to them and let go of his grip. When they were like, look, I think you got him. Crazy. But this fucker is like encouraging vigilante justice. But that's simply not America. Okay? That's another reason, another example of how much they hate this grand experiment in liberal democracy, especially him. He hates it. And so does J.D. Vance, his pet. I'm not just saying that. He says it. He says, I no longer believe in democracy and blah, blah, blah. What do you think he's funding J.D. Vance for? And he partnered up with America's Hitler? His own words. You know, it's like, J.D. Vance likes to say, I had a turnaround. I saw the light with Trump and Z. Yeah, because why? He was such a... That's what they keep saying. Oh, I love the policies. What fucking policies? He did one thing. He made the rich richer. Okay, say that. That's all he did. I love the policies of kicking down on the poor and stirring up the racial discord. I love those policies. What policies? That's why he came around. That's why he saw the light on Hitler, on America's Hitler. It's not like he was like, oh, I have, I see a little bit of difference. I don't really believe in complete deregulation and complete trickle down. No, there's a big gap between America's Hitler and, I like his policies. What policy? You like the policies of America's Hitler? Nothing changed. That's why I can't stand all these fuckers. Like this guy, Peter Thiel, Jeff Bezos, Mark Zuckerberg, all of them. They should not exist. There's no reason that billionaires exist. The reason that, the fact that they exist is a symptom of just how sick this goddamn system is. This is a very fucking dangerous time. This is when the future, if God help us, if we survive as the grand experiment in liberal democracy, and the future looks back on this time, they're gonna be appalled. One of the primary, I'm looking for the correct word. What I was going to say, poison. I guess so. Poison in the body politic is the existence of billionaires. They are the albatrosses around our national neck. They should not be anywhere near the halls of power. They should be restrained. Like Teddy Roosevelt understood this. Why don't these bastards? Because they finally got where they've always longed to be. They bought themselves a president outright, just like Russia did. You know, Russia said they're expecting payback. Oh, they'll get it. Don't worry, because we got a goddamn traitor in the Oval Office. Oh, he's coming. I'm talking about traitor Trump. He's a goddamn traitor. The only thing he has any allegiance to is the unholy dollar and his rapacious, greed-centered gullet that could never be sustained what's the word? Could never be satiated. Look at this guy.
I don't think of him as a vigilante. I think of him as
You do?
as
right.
A crime stopper, and
Really?
Yes.
and you'd have
You fucking piece of shit. The guy was having a meltdown on the show. He's not a crime stopper. Can you imagine being the family of Jordan Neely? Daniel Peele? Oh no. I'm getting their names mixed up. Jordan Neely, Daniel Peele's the guy that murdered. Jordan Neely is the guy who was murdered.
You know, you'll have a far more violent world if you stop people like that than if you...
No, that's why we have a nation of laws, asshole. If the guy was committing crimes, then he should, do your thing, but don't kill the fucking guy and get the cops. You know, every train has an emergency cord on it. You pull the emergency. If it's that bad, I would say if it's that bad, you got to murder somebody. Try pulling the emergency cord, or get the conductor. There's supposed to be cops. Everybody has a phone now. You can use your phone on the subway now. It's not like you're going to disconnect. Buddha. Damn it. She's like, oh, she's now trying to bite the Wi-Fi.
Than if you don't. And so that's where, I think the intuitions seem very, very wrong.
Yeah.
And then I don't, the AOC thing seems so great. It's
fuck?
almost like,
what about AOC?
You want to create more crime. You want to create
Really?
more.
That's what she wants to create. See, this is why I hate them. Because it's not enough to simply have a disagreement. You're constantly battling them and their filthy lies. They just make shit up. AOC. What does AOC have to say? She called this guy a murderer, I suppose? Yeah, he murdered somebody. He took the life of someone. So, okay, isn't that called murder? I don't know what she said. Then he doesn't either, though. He's like, I don't have all the... What? And what is with both of this asshole and Elon Musk? They both have that thing where they're like, I think it's a part of a sociopathy where they want everyone to hang on their every word. So, because they can. You hear how Piers Morgan is simply like licking every word that comes out of this guy's mouth. He's just lapping it up right from his tongue, like, keep it coming, slower. That's exactly what Elon Musk does. They're like, He does the same thing. Where is that? See, look.
We'll reduce a lot of government headcount, but we're going to give, I think, like very long severances, like 2 years or something like that. So, look, just go do something else is what we're going to say, and you'll get paid for 2 years.
Go do something else. Like die.
I always wonder whether it's a crazy version of liberal elitism.
Fuck you. He really strains to make himself somehow connect to hating liberals. And liberal elitism. Yes, it's liberal elitism. AOC is a liberal elite who was a bartender, and then she became a representative, who's making like, what do they make? $200,000 or something a year? Yeah, what a liberal elite. And this fucking piece of dirt, Peter Thiel, bought himself a vice president. And he sits there. I mean, the sociopathy is astonishing. And with this, we really have to discuss this. How all of these maggots, and I count Piers Morgan as one of them, they are so enamored by these sociopathic billionaires. They are. It's like everything they say is so funny and fascinating and astute. Keep saying it, and I'll hang on every word. I'll wait every 10 seconds between words, and once I get to string them all together, it's going to be like an orgasm. That's what they act. Like he's not fucking fascinating. He's disturbing. He's sick. He's got a problem. Not only, he can't just say thanks for the money. He's got to fuck the whole world. He wants to control the world. That's why he's got himself a vice president. And then Elon Musk, man-child Musk, has himself a president. And then they got all those other billionaires surrounding in the cabinet of freaks and curiosities. And I don't know if you saw, Elon Musk was walking through the halls of Congress. He thinks he owns the place, frankly. Doesn't matter. He's an immigrant, but he's. You think he flies an American flag? This fucker. They don't give a shit. These people have no boundaries. They will tie that red, white, and blue flag around your eyes. That's what it's about. Keep waving the flag. Keep your stupid shirts with your eagles and your stars on it. They have no allegiance to any country. Make America great. Are you kidding me? Rape America. Make America into another host from which to suck profit, and discard. You are nothing. You're a nothing. You're a flea on an ant on the ass of the universe to them. You're nothing. You're just a sucker who thinks they give a shit about the border or the trans people, or they don't care. Their only concern, or Jesus, bringing Jesus and prayer. That's all we need is prayer. Prayer in schools, prayer up your ass, prayer in the streets. That's what they had back in the day, back in the good old days, where the rich run and they ran and ruled everything, owned everything, ruled everything, and everyone else knew their place, and they prayed and prayed and prayed and awaited their rewards in heaven without pestering their betters for a decent middle-class life. Right? That's what they want. That's what this fucker represents. He don't give a shit. While he's got you all tickled and twisted. He's tickled your funny bones, your racist funny bones. He's got you all twisted about the border. Oh, those brown people are coming at the border. Better stop them. They don't give a shit. The more the better. The more they get to use it as something to get you all twisted about. That's why that fucking baboon, Trader Trump, said, don't you dare pass that border bill. I need something to get these baboons, the little baboons all upset about. Oh, it's going to be fun when all the mass deportations start. Oh, that's going to be great. I can't wait. I'm expecting it. Because, hey, they promised it. Wait till the maggots start feeling the sting of the lash. I can't wait to say, that's what you voted for. And you know what? One thing I'm hoping for in this shitty, fucked up timeline is that once, maybe, like we were talking before, back when the baboon was in office the first time, despite receiving fewer votes, was that maybe this will wake these maggots up. It did a little bit, but we have too many problems here, and the primary problem is really, it's the media. It's the corporate media. It's half the country is propagandized. That's why. That is why. Period. Because they're not coming up. These idiots aren't coming up with any new ideas. They're not coming up with shit on their own. They're coming up with. They're just repeating what they're hearing on propaganda outlets like Fox News that had to pay the largest fine in American history for lying to its viewers, and influencers, right-wing influencers that are literally funded by the Kremlin. So that's why. I mean, it's going to be hard. We have a lot of pain ahead of us. Well, this is the end of, I'm not gonna, we're going to keep going because I want to finish this, but we will win. one day, hopefully I'll be around to see it. We're on the right side of history. We're on the right side of decency, dignity, democracy, humanity. Thank you for hanging out. We're still going to do this video, so if you feel like hanging out, stick around. I know the show's going late tonight, but become a patron if you can at patreon.com/TaraDevlin. Keep the show going and growing. We stick together, we win. My name is Tara Devlin. Thank you, Charlie from APS Radio News. Thank you, JD from England, Angleland, land of the Angles. I miss my home. My hometown of, well, I was from County Cork. God damn it. God, oh, actually, you know, I did the 23andMe. I wanted, and I also did Ancestry because it was on sale for $40. And I wanted to, because I wanted to compare. And I actually just got a text that the ancestries are done. I'll have to look at that later. Let me see something here. Let me see something here. You know what else happened? Anybody a doctor on there? I gotta go to the doctor. I think I broke my finger. I don't know. I fell and I tripped. And I hit the wall. And now I can't, like, bend my finger all the way. My pinky. And I wonder, it feels very weird. I wonder if I broke it. But anyway, it kind of hurts. I can't, like, it's weird. Like, this can go like that. But this one, that's as far as it goes. It won't bend all the way. Oh, I'm broken. My middle finger's good. Thank you, Lava Q. I need to go back to Ireland. I need to live in Ireland. God damn it. All right, let's keep going.
The ridiculous Mayor Bloomberg of New York and things like this, where it's sort of like why it serves people right for riding the subway. Why do these people need to?
About? Okay, I'm sorry to keep interrupting, but let me move it back a little bit because you will agree that he makes absolutely no sense. So he's like, AOC sucks. There should be vigilante mobs killing people, and because that makes society great. Obviously, he's somewhere, literally in the ivory tower somewhere. They don't have any powder, I suppose, wherever he is for his face.
To it, I always wonder whether it's a crazy version of liberal elitism, a la
it must be
the ridiculous Mayor Bloomberg of New York and things like this, where it's sort of like why it serves people right for riding the subway.
Really?
Why do these people need to ride the subway?
What are you fucking talking about? It serves people. Who says that? What liberal says that? It serves people right for riding the subway. Nobody. They just pull words out of their own ass and then they say that a liberal said it. It's like when we were listening to, what's her name? Anna Kasparian the other day, because she's now a maggot or something. And she said that liberals, what changed her mind was she was sexually assaulted, and the liberals said something like, she said she was assaulted by a homeless man, and the liberals had a reaction, and they said that you don't say anything because it will be bad for people who are unhoused. And that is such bullshit. Nobody said that. Nobody. No liberal said that. And if they did, it's not liberals who said that. Nobody would say that. Who would? Would you? No, I wouldn't. Oh, wait. No, you were. Oh, I'm so sorry you were assaulted, but shh, don't say anything. Don't say anything. because it was somebody who doesn't have a home, and then we don't want to be mean to them. Nobody would fucking say that. Give me a break. That's why they don't have... They could always just describe this ubiquitous liberal monster that they made up in their fucking heads. You know why? Because they want the maggots to hate and reject the very things that they need, right? That make democracy run, that make democracy function, that make a middle class. You know, the middle class was not created by Peter Thiel's ilk. In fact, it was created in spite of them. The privileged princes of the new economic order, as FDR called them, they didn't pay workers a living wage in decent working conditions with benefits and 8-hour workday and weekend and retirement because they fucking felt like it. It was because of government policies, and that's why they're out there destroying the administrative state, destroying everything that makes government function. And before they got to that point, they got on their propaganda channel, just like in all fascist authoritarian coups, it starts with the message. And they have to get on there and say, government's the problem, the most terrifying words. What's more terrifying than Peter Thiel and fucking Elon Musk unfettered in our halls of power? Oh no, government's the problem. The problem is them. Money and politics. Who bought these politicians, and now they are working not for the American people. They're working for Peter Thiel. They're working for Elon Musk. These fucking sociopaths, literal sociopaths, that have more money than they can ever spend in a million lifetimes, but it's not enough. That's not enough for them. They're not well. These are not well people. They're sick. Because you know what? You're gonna die too, Peter fucking Thiel. I don't give a shit how much Botox or whatever else you got on your face. You're gonna die. And you're not gonna take it with you. And what are you doing? Why is it your mission in life to destroy somebody else's retirement? And then that's what he talks about. You'll hear it.
They should be. And then this is what happens to people who and so there's always something about liberalism that I think
makes perfect sense. If you want to lick a billionaire's ass, that doesn't have fucking any sense. You hear? Look at Piers Morgan. Imagine if I went on this show and I was like, it's like they don't want you to ride the subway, and it's like what right wingers say. It's like just serves you right. He's making zero sense, but he said something about kicking a liberal and blaming liberals, and everybody who's liberal sucks and they're elitist, even though he's a fucking billionaire. AOC's an elitist, because she's not a complete sociopath, so she's an elitist. She cares about others, she, does her job, she represents her constituents, so she's an elitist. And she wants others to not have to needlessly die without health care. What an elitist. What a liberal elitist. If only she got her focus rate on straight, right? If she could just focus on the things that matter in life, not helping other people. People are nothing. People are fucking Soylent Green. People are, they're just nothing but hosts from which to suck profit. What you should be focused on is making more money. Money, money, money. Making an early investment in something that makes you a billionaire. And then you could go on Piers Morgan and he'll sit there like, yeah, while you go, bing, bang, boom, bang. Liberals suck, and it's almost like they're so elite. Oh, yeah, and then they are. You shouldn't be on the. It's like they don't want you to ride the subway. Said no one ever. And look at his face. Look at Piers Morgan. Wow, what a very fascinating and scintillating and nonsensical answer, but you're a billionaire. So you must be smart. You had money and you made money from money. Wow, it's like Jeff Bezos. You had a bookstore online. What a great time to be alive. You're a genius. So now you get to rule. You get to rule the democratic system that the founders broke away from the monarchy that ruled Western civilization for 2,000 years, and inspired by the liberal age of enlightenment, created a system of government of, by, and for the people that promoted the general welfare over the welfare of the intergenerational aristocracy. Yes, I know, and all the flaws and all of the hypocrisies, they still wrote that shit down. And the closer we get to a more perfect union, the Republic, they can't have it. Not just the Republic, the conservatives. On both sides of the aisle. They can't have it. They're making that money. Fucking shit.
Whether it's a crazy version of liberal elitism, a la, the ridiculous Mayor Bloomberg of New York and things like this, where it's sort of like why it serves people right for riding the subway. Why do these people need to ride the subway? And maybe they should be. And then this is what happens to people who. And so there's always something about liberalism that I think, in both its environmental forms and in its anti-crime forms, that's extraordinarily elitist. Because
you fucking baboon. It makes sense. You hear Piers Morgan? Tell us, Piers. Give us the elevator speech, what he just said. I bet you can. Oh, liberals suck. What a fascinating insight. It's almost like you shouldn't watch the Real Housewives. It's like elitism. And it serves you right for... Liberal elitism is it serves you right for riding the subway? No, it's, hey, you need... If it wasn't for liberal elitism, like there would be no like discounted subway fares for the elderly or disadvantaged or, It's like, hey, fucking ride the subway. Liberals, working people are the ones riding the subway, not Peter Thiel, you stupid fucker. He's not right. Tell me when you rode the subway last, Peter Thiel. You got a Metro card?
The elite liberal answer is it doesn't affect you if you're not on the subway or if you're in a nice secure building in Manhattan. And so it's a way to increase class differences. And then this is the way. This would be like, I don't know, a conservative or even a Marxist critique of AOC is that she's it's sort of like a extreme upper class elitist thing in a way for her to say.
What? He's a fucking moron, people. That's a moron. But he's got a lot of money, so look at Piers. Oh, boy. Yes, exactly, Stephanie. It's projection. It's not what liberal elite. And you know what always annoys me, too, about these dirtbags? They, and I hear it on some, like, what's his name? Who's on? He goes on Reverend... not Jackson, the Rev. You know who I'm talking about. Sharpton, yes. He's he talks about liberal latte liberals. They always kicking, everybody's kicking down on liberals because liberals are the ones that, don't leave people behind. We're the ones who try not to leave people on the battlefield, right? Well, conservatives are leaving everybody behind all the time. They leave you behind on the battlefield on the actual battlefield. Look at the way they want to leave our Ukrainian allies on the battlefield. They leave us on the battlefield of education, on the battlefield of ignorance, on the battlefield of sickness, on the battlefield of retirement. They leave us behind every time. On the battlefield of living wages. Oh, you're on your own, bubby, right? But, wait, hold on. Fucking thing is now giving me a beach ball. But he's talking about the liberal elites and Sharpton is another one. Like everybody kicks down on actual liberals. And it seems like the same argument. Al Sharpton would say things like, oh, the latte liberals. That always drives me insane. What's a latte liberal, right? So they're saying like somebody who lives on Fifth Avenue and, they drink lattes. I like lattes, whatever. And so what should they not, should they not care about anybody who's not in their immediate economic circle? They should only give a shit. It's like it's as if it's more sincere if you don't give a shit about those left behind. But the latte liberals, so we're encouraging people not to care about anybody else but themselves. Is that what you're saying? So that's what he's saying too. It's like, oh, these liberal elites, blah, blah, blah. Like, okay, that serves you right. Who the fuck says that? It serves you right for riding the subway? Nobody says. In fact, it would be something they say. Oh, it's a shit show on the subway, even though that's not empirically true, but okay. Anyway. Let's keep
Completely
going.
Agree. The other big story is...
Completely agree! You hear that? Completely agree! I don't want to play the whole thing again. But he just went on about nothing and then made no sense, and Piers Morgan said, completely agree.
This has been the murder of the healthcare CEO,
Completely
Brian
agree.
Thompson. And you were
With
dragged
that
into this, like I said, through no fault of your own.
Nonsense.
But the alleged killer shared a video which featured you. Let's take a look at this.
Oh, God.
I think there's this very strange phenomenon in Silicon Valley where a lot of the most talented startups, a lot of the great startups seem to be run by people who are suffering from a mild form of Asperger's. And I think we need to always turn this fact around and view this as an indictment of our whole society.
Yes,
because what does it say about our
Fuck
society
it all.
when
Burn
anyone
it
who does
down.
not suffer from Asperger's, who is socially well adapted, will be talked out of all of their original creative ideas before they're even fully formed, who will sense this is a little bit too weird, that's a little bit strange, that sounds a little bit crazy, people are looking at me in a weird way. And I think this is...
Why don't you fuck off to the woods, right? None of the words this dirtbag is saying make any sense to actual human ears. somebody forming a mild form of Asperger's, and people are looking at me funny, and it's like they don't want to hear our ideas, and we're discouraging the ideas because someone's going to look at me funny, and it might be a little bit crazy. Who the fuck is saying that? Everybody's, you know what? That's the thing about these filthy fascists. Everyone is always picking on them, right? Everybody's picking on them. They have all these amazing ideas, but people look at them funny. What do you care? If you got a good idea, just say it. I got a good idea. I like my idea. Who cares how people look at you? Who cares? You're so fragile. Right? Oh my gosh, so easily triggered. Oh, but it's the liberal elites, right? It's the liberals. The liberals who don't want Granny to die needlessly without health care. Oh, such elitists. Such elitists want you to be able to retire in dignity and security, these filthy elitist liberals. Everyone's looking at me. I have a form of Asperger's. Everyone's looking at me. Who cares? I don't get it. Why do you care so much? Are you that? I mean, it's like a pathology with them. Someone's gonna look at me. She's this fucking. You know what I've been doing? I'm sorry. Besides cursing, I've been doing that since I'm like 12. I got in big trouble when I was a kid. I had a bad. I blame my parents. You know, whatever. Thank you, Robyn, for your super chat. Very lovely super chat with a cute little emoji. That's very cute. But what was I saying? Shit. It'll come back to me. Besides, cursing. Oh, I've been watching. I told you guys. I've been watching a lot of. There's a lot of Meghan Markle hate videos out there, and so I watched one, and then there's a whole bunch of others that come up all the time, and but she is kind of irritating and phony, phony and all. I don't know her personally, but she seems that way, and she's really irritating too, in a similar way, because of the whole thing of the way that she and Harry left the royal family, which is another thing that annoys me, because I wish I was in the fucking royal family. Could you imagine? I mean, I invited them to stay here when they were fleeing the royal family. I invited them to my 1-bedroom apartment. I have a pull-out couch, but they went to Tyler Perry's house. So anyway, but what really annoyed me about the whole thing is that they, they're paying attention to all of the tweets. Rando tweet account 57312 called me the C word. Who cares? Who cares? That's what this reminds me of. Why do you care? Shut up. You made an early investment in PayPal. You got a lot of money. Go do something with it. And then, you know what I mean? He's such a bore. Who the fuck listens to him? And then, and I think this has to be a thing. We gotta watch these other billionaires. I wonder, does Jeff Bezos do this shit with the right? Or who cares though? I hate them all. I don't want to listen to them anyway. But what? It must be part of the sociopathy to just stand there and do a lot of hemming and hawing and doing it on purpose because you think, and you have been confirmed by the world, you're the most amazing thing, even when you're going hemming and hawing. Like, I don't know if you saw Trader Trump ringing the bell at the stock exchange this morning. He rang the bell. Bing, bing, bing. And, you know, people ring the bell like grown-ass adults. They're like, bing, bing, bing. He leaned on that bell for like 20 seconds. It was like, ring, bing, 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 bing. You know, it was like a fucking baby would ring the bell. Like, look at me, bing, 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 bing. Because he's the most amazing person that's ever rang the bell, so he's got to ring it like a baby. All right, we're never going to sleep tonight at this
thing that we must all realize is sort of a deeply endemic problem.
Yes, let's all realize it.
I heard that he'd done this. This shooter, alleged shooter, Luigi.
I'd not heard. This is the first time I'm hearing, Pierce. This is the first time I'm hearing this. So, can you explain to me what the link was?
Yeah. So the person who is alleged to have shot and killed the healthcare CEO Brian Thompson,
we all saw
Luigi Mangione, on his social media feed. Amongst many things, he'd retweeted stuff by Elon and others, but also by you, including that video clip of you. He just happened to post it and urge his followers to listen to it. So your name just got pulled into it purely by that.
They immediately tried to make him a lefty, of course. That's what they do. That's what they all do. Whenever something happens, and in fact, he said this asshole, this sociopath says something about about how Trump is, lefties are trying to assassinate Trump, when it wasn't, none of the idiots who took a shot at the traitor were left-wingers. They were all Republicans, registered Republicans. But you know what? That's the pesky reality. Reality factors nothing in their equation.
That reason. What's your reaction to that?
Bing, 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 bing.
Man, it's
20 seconds of silence.
I don't know. There's always a part of me that thinks articulating certain views is always very dangerous, and it can, obviously there are all these anti-free speech arguments that we should restrict speech because it's going to trigger people in all kinds of crazy.
No, it's not restrict speech because it triggers people. This is another thing. It's the paradox of tolerance. These are no one wants to restrict your speech. We just want to not have hate speech. Have some, like if you went to the town square and you got up on a soapbox and started screaming the N-word, the cops would come and arrest you for disorderly conduct. That's a fact. Maybe not in your town. I don't know. In this town they would. And good. Because no one wants to hear that shit. It's the same thing. But, all right.
Ways. But I would have never thought that saying something like that would be...
What did you say? What did you say? You said nothing. You said, oh, everyone's picking on me. And I have a good idea. What's your idea? You want to take a shit in the Capitol? That's not a good idea. You want to beat cops with cattle prods, or call up the Secretary of State of Georgia and say, I need you to find me the votes to win? That's not a good idea. Oh my goodness gracious me. All right, let me forward this a little bit to where it gets even worse.
20th century, from 1920s Weimar, that fascism...
He's talking about fascism again.
Telling people about the healthcare industry and the insurance industry and things like...
Wait, let me forward.
Free to say these things. I believe we should have maximal freedom of speech.
Yes, you sure do.
And then at the same time,
misgender people.
there's a level
Be an asshole.
on it. The thing that I find amazing is that it took them 8 years to get one person in a country of 330 million people to try to assassinate Trump.
How dare you? How dare you? It took them 8 years in a country of 320 million to try to assassinate Trump. Who's them? You dirtbag? You filthy lying sociopath dirtbag? You scumbag. This is why. These Republicans, conservatives, they love these billionaires because they are destructive to democracy and freedom and e pluribus unum, the general welfare. They are poison to the general welfare because they're filthy liars. It took them 8 years in a country of 320 million to get someone to assassinate Trump. If that's not one of the most, I don't know, what's the word? What's the word? It's not insightful. That's not insightful. Inflammatory. It's getting late. Right? It's just completely designed to trigger someone to commit violence against left-wingers. That's what it is. And if Democrats, let's say, I guess that's what he's saying, Democrats, we had a whole nationwide search for an assassin. And then we came up with a couple of registered Republicans. But okay, so if it took that, we did a whole search throughout the nation to find somebody to try to assassinate that piece of shit, that traitor. Nobody, no one but them. They did it. They did it. Registered Republicans. And the lies. That's why they want no consequences. They just want to be able to lie without consequence. But the consequences are not for them. It's for the rest of us. We have to live in the consequences of their actions. Scum. What a scum. God, I wish we had an FDR, you know? God.
It's in some, you know, I'm not in favor of violence or anything like this, but perhaps the shocking thing is how poorly this rhetoric translates, or how low testosterone the left actually is. You know, there's all sorts of ways you can connect these things, but that's
another thing he keeps saying, low testosterone.
If this is what they thought and what they've been telling people about the healthcare industry and the insurance industry and things like that, it's in some ways it's remarkable it's taken this long.
If this is what they've been telling people about the healthcare, no one has to tell us. We experience it. We're the ones getting the denial of services, the bankruptcies, the in-network, out-of-network, the surprise billing. Yes, and he keeps saying low testosterone. He says it later. They're all about this low testosterone. Oh, the left is so low testosterone. That means that men, actually, these are the most lowest of the lowest testosterone. These right-wingers, they're so fucking fragile. They're so easily triggered. They're so violent. These are the low testosterone assholes that literally worship the biggest fragile bitch on the planet. They're so low testosterone. They can't see the con man through the cons. They're such suckers. They need this baboon to make it okay to be a cowardly little bitch. They can't go shopping without an assault weapon. Oh, someone looked at me funny. They didn't like my idea. You low testosterone. Oh, so low testosterone. And then there's so, everything is about their fragile little fucking small dicks, really. Low testosterone, and a woman is looking at me funny, and low testosterone. Why don't you shut the fuck up and go to the woods already? God damn it. No, but he doesn't want to go to the woods. He wants to suck on us all like the parasite he is. Everyone, oh, that's the left. The left is so low testosterone. You know why? Because we don't leave people behind. That's what he means. In order to be high testosterone, you got to be a fragile little bitch who's afraid of diversity, afraid of seeing anything different. And just like he said in that little rambling speech, if everybody looked at me funny, oh, if you look at him funny, he's like, ugh, he shrinks. Oh, I have a good idea, but they looked at me funny. God, I hate these people. So low testosterone, but it's misogyny, right? It's racism, misogyny. It's this fragile little toxic masculinity. And it's not even masculinity because they're not masculine. They're just fucking bullies. That's not masculine. They're cowards. There's nothing more pathetic than a bully, than a greedy little bully that never gets enough, that everybody has to look at with the good eyes. Don't look at him funny. He might get all, oh, I'm melting. You looked at me funny. Shut the fuck up. But you want to just treat people like shit. Right? And that's what it is. That's why, these little fragile little weaklings, they would never vote for Harris because she's a woman. They can't have a strong woman. They think that would be low testosterone for them. When real men aren't so easily triggered by that. They don't get that. Everything about them is low testosterone. That's why they always got to flex. They're not. They're disgusting. Ugh.
Peter,
we are
so low testosterone. You gotta. What did you put your head in a vat of acid? Because he's got a lot of testosterone. He needed to stick his face in acid to get rid of all those wrinkles. Like that fragile little baboon bitch that they all love. There's no bigger bitch than him. It's incredible. This with the makeup, the orange face paint, with the goddamn girdle he wears. The fat pig, horse face. How such testosterone. God, these people. It's get me out of this timeline. Selling all their stupid magic beans. Yes, Stephanie says he looks like a log cabin Republican. He is, probably. I mean, he's gay, supposedly. I don't know who would fuck him. He should be immediately removed from the gay. He should get his gay card removed. We don't want him.
We're
good point.
There are. I always think that there are ways in which the 2020s in the U.S. we need to rethink things. There are ways it resembles Weimar Germany in the 1920s, where a lot of the conventional ideas had failed, and you'd look outside the Overton window and things like this. But one way in which we're very different from the early 20th century, from 1920s Weimar, is that fascism and communism, at the end of the day, were youth movements, and they were movements of violent young men. and
like
there was,
the maggots
there
that
was
stormed
probably
the
a lot
Capitol?
wrong with youth movements and of those sorts of youth movements. But if we look at the 2020s, I don't think our fundamental problem is that we're going to have communism.
Oh, shut up. He's such a bore who has nothing to say. He's a bore. He said this before about 20s, the 1920s Weimar Republic that led to the rise of Adolf Hitler and the Nazi Party. He said that liberalism is weary. That's what he said in the past, and implied that democracy is exhausted. That's what he's saying here, prompting, to discussions. This is what he said in the past, that were far outside the Overton window, meaning, we should look outside the range of acceptable political discourse. Yeah, what's that, Pete? Is that the same thing the Nazis did? Look, go after the target the minority group du jour. They started with trans people too, coincidentally. There's no real new ideas. There's just new, recycled, bad ideas.
Or fascism and even with this dramatic, healthcare killer, and he shouldn't have killed the CEO. I don't think that's actually the mainstream.
I hit the wrong button.
What the risk in our society is that we are a gerontocracy with an inverted demographic pyramid in which the values are set not by loser, 20-something high testosterone men, but it's all being driven by 70-something grandmothers who don't want to take any risk whatsoever.
Oh, fuck you, you stupid bitch. It's not, we shouldn't be afraid of the high testosterone men. He's calling the Nazis, like the brown shirts, the early adopters of the Nazi fascist movement in Germany, that they are high testosterone men, when they were the weakest little bitches too. See? That's why we're living in bizarro land. These are not high testosterone men. They're fragile little bitches who blame everybody else. They're the ones that are making everything suck. And what's evil about this piece of shit is that he's got enough money to leave people alone. Right? Leave people the fuck alone. Fuck off to an island. Fuck off to the woods. But, yes, like Stephanie on the chat says, this is my first time hearing this guy, and I'm not impressed. He's not impressive. He's not a genius. He is a baboon, like the rest of them, like Elon Musk. He's a sociopath. And what I really hate more than him, and I hate him pretty up there, is Piers Morgan, looking at him like he is impressive. He's not. He made money. He had money, and he invested in Facebook. Fucking whoopee-doopie. Congratulations. You don't get to rule us because you made a good investment in Facebook. At the right time. You were born at the right time. At the beginning of the tech age. Whatever. Good for you. Some other people made money on that. They're not sociopaths. They're just doing their thing. But you and Elon Musk, you got damage. Damage. You want to destroy. You want to destroy democracy. You hate democracy, and you're not leaving this planet until you fucking destroyed it. I guess. He is a sociopath. That's why we should be very afraid, and I hope, honestly, they keep playing him. They keep interviewing him. Keep it up. Because by the time I'm praying for this. By the time the next monstrous 4 years are over, we've had enough of billionaires, enough to tax them into millionaires. There's no reason a billionaire should exist. No one needs a billionaire. Earth doesn't need a billionaire. We certainly don't need a trillionaire. And we certainly don't need these fucking parasites in our body politic. They need to be put down to size, like other presidents and other administrations understood. This is part of the problem. Why, the maggots, why the billionaires own the media, especially on the right, to keep, you don't hear this on the so-called liberal media either, but they don't, they own the media because they need to manipulate the message. They need the message to be, billionaires are your masters. You can't challenge the billionaires. That's why I can't take it when I see these clips of Elon Musk and these maggots all cheering him. Like, get a clue. Get a grip and then get a clue. It sickens me. They hate you stupid morons. Especially they hate the people that they stand up in front of and they say, oh, we're going to fire. We're firing you all. And these idiots are cheering, thinking, oh, it's not going to be you. That's how disgusting they are. They've all caught that selfish gene, the sociopathy that seeps out of these motherfuckers' pores. That's it, It's part of why they need this country divided. They need us all divided so we don't give a shit about anybody else but ourselves. Then we don't care if someone needlessly dies without health care or someone's homeless and can't get medical care, or someone is trying to retire but can't, or on and on. All the lot that the American people were burdened with for generations until the New Deal. They are coming for it. Because it's not enough, Their billions are not enough. They got to take your retirement, your health care, your little nest egg. They want that too. These fucking scumbags. I am mad. And I don't understand why people aren't. I know you guys are. How much do you have to hate yourself to cheer these people and not see what they're all about? Oh, whoopie-doo. He made an investment in Facebook. Whoopie effing doopie. He is not your friend. And neither is J.D. Vance, you stupid moron. Just because he hates trans people too. Probably because he is a trans person, but that's a story for another day.
And that's what I think the political challenge in our society is. It's the gerontocracy.
Wow.
Much more than the rise, some Gen Z rising tide of fascism and communism.
Yeah,
they're not enough Gen Z people for this
communism
to ever be anything.
Because he's a fascist. He got in trouble. Well, not really trouble. I guess he's very triggered when people look at him funny, but because he said basically the same things before about fascism and how America's like Weimar Germany and it's prime. We got to start thinking differently. And now he seems semi-critical. But what he's saying is he's really lulling you and all the dumbasses, not you guys, the idiots who think he's a friend. Yeah, he's trying to lull them into a, hey, no fascists here. What are you talking about? We got to worry about, like, Nancy Pelosi. That's what we got to worry about, Not, the young men like the maggots who stormed the Capitol and defecated and urinated in the halls, or the proud pricks, or the Nazis marching in the streets of Ohio or whatnot. We don't worry about them. It's Nancy Pelosi. That's the one.
More than a superliminal movement. So yeah, I want to condemn
the fuck up.
The person for who again, we have to assume he's innocent, presumed innocent until proven otherwise. But
my God.
it doesn't look good. I would condemn him for doing it. But I wouldn't anchor on that as the paradigm of really what our society is headed towards. The risk in our society is that we're a society where people are scared of their own shadow, and we're going to vote for this ever bigger nanny state to protect people's pensions and what.
See? Oh, that's what we got to be afraid of. A nanny state that will protect our pensions. Don't be afraid of, fascists or violence, political violence, or be afraid of the nanny state protecting your pension. Right? You scum. What a scum. What a filthy, disgusting scum of the earth he is. Don't worry about that. Listen to that.
The risk in our society is that we're a society where people are scared of their own shadow.
Scared of our own shadows.
We're going to vote.
Scared of our own shadows to what? Vote for a nanny state that will protect our pensions.
For this, ever bigger nanny state to protect people's pensions and whatnot. And
whatnot. Wow. Yeah, we should be afraid because he's coming for your pensions. He just gave it away. He gave away the plot. We always knew it. Exactly. Twisted Nerves painting. That's it. He gave away the plot right there. Wow. It's unreal. We can't be scared of our own shadows. See? Well, why would you be scared of your own shadow if you made an early investment in Facebook and now people like Piers Morgan are hanging on your every utterance, even though you're not making much sense at all. Scared of my own shadow. That, I'm more scared that my pension, even though people don't have pensions anymore, my Social Security is not going to be protected by my so-called nanny state. There's no fucking nanny state. There's we the people. There's the general welfare over the welfare of Peter Thiel's ideology, over his sick sociopathy. Don't be afraid of your own shadow. Yeah, use the secret, right? Think yourself rich. Think yourself pensioned. Don't be afraid of your own shadow. Don't be afraid of Elon Musk and Peter Thiel privatizing your Social Security and Medicare. Because that's a nanny state. You don't want nanny. You want a fascist daddy, a greed-centered fascist daddy to take your pension and invest it for you until there's nothing left of it at all for you. But then that's okay, because you'll just kill yourself. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid of your own shadow. I wasn't afraid when I made that early investment in Facebook. What a scumbag. What a filthy scumbag. These people, what a disgusting scumbag. And look at Piers Morgan. Yeah, nanny state. No, nanny state. Yeah, don't be afraid to hand your Social Security and Medicare and whatever life savings you have over to greed-centered ghouls who, don't worry, there won't be any FDI insurance or FDIC. Don't worry, because we're coming for that too. They're coming for that. Project 2025 is on. I can't even believe this horrible timeline we're living in with these horrible, horrible billionaires and people who fucking vote for them. Can you wake up? It's like I think of my cousins on my mother's side of my family that voted for this, for the baboon. And, you know, these are just working dummies. High school dropouts. Working at city jobs. You know, just... You dumb dumbs. Don't be afraid. God.
And that's the gerontocracy is the risk.
And to those who think this shooter is a hero because he did it because he said this healthcare executive was presiding over a healthcare system which kills thousands of Americans by denying them cover, what would you say to them?
Uh-oh, here we go. It's embarrassing. Yeah? Think of something. You're a genius.
I don't know what...
Oh, it's so painful.
What to say. I think... I still think you should try to make an argument, and I think this is you should, you know, there may be things wrong with our healthcare system.
Maybe.
But you have to make an argument, and you have to try to find a way to convince people, and change it by that. And this is not going to work.
Oh, okay. So don't. Okay, we got that. But that's not going to work. Killing CEOs isn't going to work. And I agree with that, believe it or not. But killing homeless, mentally ill people on the subway, that's going to work. That's something that we encourage. Right? Exactly. That's what he said. He said that killing the what's his face? You know, the one who's going to the Army-Navy game with the so-called president and the so-called vice president. Daniel Penny. But killing Jordan Neely, that's bad. I mean, that's good. I'm sorry. I'm getting so confused with who's good, who should be killed and who shouldn't. So killing CEOs, not good, but killing homeless in the streets, good. Okay, CEOs, no. Homeless, yes. Okay. Fucking Christ. But did you hear his... it took about 30 seconds of hemming and hawing and...
And, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's
I don't know. And our perceived, you know, we just perceive when you die, when you get a bill that says you owe me $100,000, your money or your life, even though you were unconscious. And then, you know, you perceive when your partner dies or your kid or your, you know, you couldn't go, you had something that was curable maybe 2 years ago, but you waited because you couldn't afford it, and now it's a catastrophic something that you can't fix. Oh, I can't. All right, listen, it's now tomorrow. And look at Buddha. Oh my God. I wish I I don't know. We'll talk more. Maybe we'll watch more of that. So it's like incredible. It's incredible. Yes, it is. It's psychopathy. It is psychopathy, and I hope that we get to the point where, I mean, that's why I do the show. I know we're just a little small show here. Hopefully, we'll get bigger and bigger and bigger. But I hope that most people will wake up, or a lot of people need to wake up to that. Like, you know, psychopathy is not good. We were made to be interdependent. We were made to feel each other's feelings. You know, I feel your pain. That's how Mother Nature made humans, so we could thrive together. Together, you know, alone we can survive. Together we thrive. And we can do things. We can do great things. We can go to the moon, for fuck's sake. You can't do that alone. But they just want... selfish, just be a selfish little cancer cell. That's what they want. That's what they are. You know, it's like the cancer cell in the system. It just eats up all the nutrients until it kills the host. And now they're running out of shit to suck on, so they're coming for Social Security and Medicare and everything else. FDIC insurance, the IRS free tax preparation. They're coming for it. Oh, it's gonna suck so bad. But let's prepare ourselves. Okay, and Errol, what did you say? Are those cousins you're talking about older or younger than you? If you're older than them, maybe you could knock some sense into them. Well, one is older and one is younger. They're sisters. And one is older than me and one is younger than me. But they live in Pennsylvania now. I don't really see them anymore. And they became maggots, so I actually got a Christmas card from one of them. I didn't open it up yet because I'm afraid. I hope it's not like "Make America Christmassy again." I'm just gonna puke if that. I don't know if they've gone that far. Because when she posted on Facebook, I didn't even know that she was a maggot until she's like, "Make America Great," like after the election, and I had something to say about it. So, but in a nice way. All right, look at Buddha. She's a good girl. She is a good girl. Okay, I gotta go to bed. I'm tired. Thank you so much for hanging out tonight and putting up with that sociopathy. And look at Buddha. Buddha. People are watching Buddha. No, Buddha. No. Buddha. Well, she's not really doing the butt. She's just licking around it. Be a good Buddha. Now she's licking her feet. Okay, guys. Thank you for hanging out. Thank you for your support and everything else. Kathy has cousins that are older and younger and MAGA. That's a shame. I hope, I mean, all I could say about my cousins is that I hope they learn the hard way. No. I hope they don't have to learn the hard way. I hope they learn, but it seems like they don't learn unless it's the hard way. So, in general, maggots, All right. Yeah, I know. Jim says, glad Thiel isn't on anymore. Isn't he a disturbing looking person? But also, Piers Morgan? What's up with that, Piers? Aren't you? Hey, how? We all heard that shit. Piers Morgan knows that made absolutely no sense. That's what's so fucked up about this shitty timeline we're in. That he knows that made no sense, but he doesn't have the balls to say, hey, bitch, that makes no sense. So that's why we're here. That makes no sense, right? You got to say that. But they're afraid. Oh, wow. Fascinating. Fascinating. Series of words you put together there. They usually don't fit together or go together, but there you are doing it. How weird. But okay. All right. That's good. Haiku says, thank God no one in my immediate family is MAGA. My dad reads the New York Times, so he's been right-washed. Yeah, it sucks. Well, one of the other things, actually, maybe we'll see what happens. There's so many things that happen, but in that New York Times article or op-ed, the comments are closed now, but if you read the comment section, which I like to read a lot of times, and there's no comment that in this CEO's whatever op-ed, they're not like, good job, man. Yes, the healthcare system has some flaws, but it's working functionally. No, it's people writing their horror stories again. And explaining, like, well, I had this, and they said that, and they denied me, and this and that. I'm still paying it off, and all right, time to go snuggle up with Boudica. All right, my friends, I love you. Thank you for hanging out. Thank you, Charlie from APS Radio News, for all you do to keep the show going and growing, and all your help for the community cats. And thank you, JD, for your generous Christmas present and birthday present. I really appreciate it. Emotionally and spiritually as well. And thank you, Jim and Robin, for your super chats. And thank you, Haiku, for being a moderator. And Jim for also moderating. And everyone else for hanging out. Tell your friends. And thank you, Twisted Nerves Painting. And Twisted Nerves Painting has his own channel. If you haven't subscribed yet, you got to do it. It's a great channel. Very talented Twisted Nerves Painting. It's really good for your blood pressure. You can watch your very talented, creative, and artwork. Teaching. It's like teaching art and shit. Right? It's like teaching art and shit. And cats. There are cats too. So make sure you subscribe. It takes a second. Subscribe and hit the notification and the likes and all that. All right, my friends. Thank you for hanging out. I'm not gonna I'll make this a long goodbye. Oh, you want to see a picture of Francis when he was a kitten, when he was in the hospital? Look at that. Isn't he cute? Look at Francis. That's when I was visiting him. He had, I'll tell that story another day. I haven't told it in a while. He was adopted with pre-existing conditions. Look at his look how sad he looks. Look at his eyes. He looks like an emoji. So cute. Francis. And there he is. Hey. All right. We will win. Poor thing, right? That's when they put me in this room. I don't know. I had like a refrigerator. Friggin' dirty looking floor. And that's where they were like, here, go bond with him over there. I know. Poor thing. And he was all shaved. Because they kept having to move his little IV thing. because he had little veins. Poor baby. That's why he's grumpy. He's a good boy. Right, Franny? Right, Franny? Good boy, Franny, right? He's the only one that listens to me. Franny? Well, if I call him, he comes when I call him. All right, whatever. It's time to go. I guess I'm getting a little delirious at this point. I need to lay down. Right, Franny? Good boy. Good boy, Franny. We're on the right side of history. We're on the right side of decency, dignity, democracy, humanity. We stick together, we win. And I'm getting message from people saying, is that a new cat? No. I have 4 cats, and that's the last one. We stick together, we win. My name is Tara Devlin, and I will see you during the week. I hope that we'll get together again with Robyn Kincaid from headon.live and do a show. That's going good, right? You like that stuff? I enjoy it. And I will see you. I'll see you very soon. Tell your friends. I'll talk to you later.